Welcome to the session on object-oriented programming in Python. In today's session, we will study two main features of object-oriented programming, that is class and object. Object-oriented programming aims to implement real-world entities, that is, inheritance, data hiding, polymorphism, etc. and programming. These features we have studied in last class. The main objective of object-oriented programming is to bind together the data and the functions that operate on that data, so that no other part of the program can access the data except that function. So we'll start with a class. What is a class? Class is main building block of object-oriented programming. It is user-defined data type which has data members and data functions that can be accessed and used by creating instance of a class. That is, class is user-defined data type having data members and member functions, and we can access these data members and data functions by using instance of a class. So instance of a class is called as an object. Object is nothing but instance of a class. Now all the integer variables we have defined till now in all our programs are instances of class called as int. Also, all the string variables are the instances, or we can say objects, of the class string. Now, we'll see how to define a class. So, class definition starts with the keyword class followed by name of the class and semicolon. Colon. So class followed by class name and colon. By proper indentation, we have to write down all these statements, that is class variables and class methods we have to write over here with proper indentation. Now the variables, those are defined inside a class, are called as class variables, and the functions, those will define inside the class, are called as class methods. So class contains class variables and class methods. Methods means nothing but the functions, those are defined inside a class. So as we said, variables in class are class variables, functions inside a class are class methods. Now these class variables and class methods, these together form a class members. So whenever we are saying class members, meaning is class variables and class methods, those are defined inside a class. These class members we can access through the class object, that is instance of a class. Now class methods have access to all the data contained in the instance of the object. Class definition can appear anywhere in the program. So we can define a class anywhere in the program, but normally it is written near the beginning of the program, that is at the starting of the program after the import statement. Normally this class definition is written. Now when the class definition is entered, that is whenever we are defining a class, new namespace is created. That namespace is used as a local space where all the attributes, that is all the data, or we can say all the variables and the functions are defined. Now this class object can access class variables and class methods using dot operator. What we said? We said that class contains variables and methods. So we can access this class variables and class methods using dot operator. Now we'll see syntax of creating an object. So for creating an object, we can write object name is equal to class name and round bracket. So this is the syntax for creating an object. Creating object or instance of a class is also called as instantiation. So we are creating an instance means we are instantiating the object. To access the class members, so whenever you want to access the class members means members contains class variables also and class methods also. To access these class members through the class object can be done in a following way. That is, we have to write object name, whatever the object of a class is, object name dot operator followed by that name of the member. So by using dot operator, we can access class members. Class members means class variables and class methods. So we'll see example of how this data can be accessed that is written inside a class. So first of all, we'll start with class definition. Class definition starts with the keyword class followed by name of the class and colon. So class space, name of the class is try, colon, with the proper indentation, we are assigning value 100 to one variable, that is var is equal to 100. So this is nothing but a class variable. We are not defining any function, that is method inside a class. We are just assigning value to only one variable. So only one variable is used inside a class, no other statements. Now we want to create an object of this class. So to create object of a class, we have to write object name. For example, obj is the name of the object, is equal to name of the class and round bracket. This is called as creation of an object of this class, try. Once we have created the object, now we can access this variable. How to access this variable? By using dot operator. Now for example, we want to print this data, then we can write print in round bracket. Instead of writing only var, now we can access this variable through object of a class. So to access this, we have to write this object name dot operator and name of the variable, that is obj.var. So this is, we are using class variable to access the, we are using class object to access the variable that is defined inside a class. So we will get a result as data 100. Data abstraction and hiding through the class. So how this these classes are used for data abstraction and hiding the details. So we'll see that. Data abstraction refers to providing only essential information about a data to the outside world and hiding the background or implementation details. So only limited information is available outside the class by using this property or a feature of object-oriented programming, that is data abstraction. And one more property is encapsulation. This refers to bundling of a data with the methods that operate on that data. That is, encapsulation is used to hide the values or state of structured data, the structured data object inside a class, and preventing unauthorized parties direct access to them. So nobody can directly access to the data that is written inside the class. So this is done by using this encapsulation. So how it is done actually? So it is done by using access specifiers or modifiers. So total 3 access specifiers are used in Python. First, one by one we will see. First is public members. So if the data members we are using, that is data variables and the methods we are using, those are public, then generally all the methods declared in the class are accessible from outside the world. These public members, if the members are defined as a public members, then they are accessible outside the world, outside the class. The object of the same class is required to invoke the public method. If the method is public, then object of that same class will invoke that method. All the members in the Python class are public by default. So here no specific keyword we are writing for as access specifiers. So all the members in the Python class are public by default. So we'll see next access specifier, that is private. If it is a private member of a class, then it will deny the access from the environment outside the class. So the members, that is variables and the methods, if they are defined as a private, then they cannot be accessed outside the class. They can be handled only from within the class. So within the class only we can use those members. Private members are prefixed with a double underscore. So if it is a double underscore is starting, then we can say that they are private members. All the private members starts with double underscore. Third access specifier is protected. If the protected members of a class are there, then they are accessible from within the class and are also accessible from the subclasses. That is, no other environment is permitted to access it. Only within the class and the subclasses can access those members. This enables specific resources of the parent class to be inherited by the child class. Where the inheritance property is there this enables the use. So how to recognize whether it is protected or not? So we can, if we are adding a prefix of a single underscore, then those variables are called as a protected. No additional keyword is required to define these members as a protected. So if that variable or a member is not prefixed by anything, any underscore, then it is called as the public member. If it is prefixed by double underscore, then it is called as that we are defining as a private member, and if it is prefixed by single underscore, then it is protected member. So these three access specifiers are used for data abstraction and data hiding property of the object-oriented programming. Remaining points we'll study in next class. Thank you.